The transfer portal and how
All
well
right,
they've
I
done.
want to talk about that, I guess.
They have fulfilled their needs numerous times with not just players that are good fill-ins, but really plus players, oftentimes turn into their best players, their very best players. And, because of that, you feel fairly armed and prepared to go out there and fill needs that you're going to need to sustain this success because there ain't no going back.
Going back.
You've tasted 9 and 3.
Yeah.
We're not going back to these 5 and 7 seasons, guys. This is no more. So what are you going to have to do that? Well, I think you got to get deeper and more talented and better and bigger on the defensive line. I think you got to do it at linebacker, and I think they could use some help in the secondary. Basically, we're starting with defense.
But what are the numbers? Like, that's the real question. What are the numbers you're trying to get? Because I think you could get up to 4 defensive linemen. Like, if Verse goes 2, I'm bringing in 4.
I'm not against it, man. I think when you look at the elite
There's
teams,
nobody coming back that you're like, that dude is definitely going to be a starter and a good ACC starter. Farmer, maybe.
I think
Patrick Payton will be.
Patrick Payton too. So, but that's one defensive end.
But you're not deep there, to your point.
Yeah.
You're not. And not with plus players. You may have adequate players right now, but you don't have difference makers that are coming back. Like like looking at a guy, you go, he's dominant. They don't have that.
Well, and the reality is, we're gonna get real here.
All right, let's go.
Let's get real.
Love Robert Cooper. Love Fabian Lovett. They did a great job for them. But in general, if you were going to get where you want to get to, you're not going to have a lot of 4th and 5th year defensive linemen. You need guys who are 3-year defensive linemen.
Guys that are going to the league.
That's where you want to get to. And I think, Coach Henshaw and Henshaw's house that I posted today at warchant.com, he made a good point. He said, man, the goal now in the portal needs to be a little different. It's not just about getting competent players. He thinks they should be looking at guys who are going to be top 3 round picks.
Yeah.
As you're looking in the portal now,
I agree.
You've had success. It's not just about getting guys.
And it could be a 1-year rental. I mean, like Jermaine Johnson was, and you'd like the guys to be true sophomores when you get them, but
it'd be great.
Not.
But most of those guys are already snatched up by really successful programs. Occasionally you get lucky, like they did with Jermaine Johnson, who came over from Georgia. You don't expect to get players like that. But yeah, I think that's the area where you're most concerned because the good offenses they faced were able to run on them. They were able to move the football, and Will Shipley ran all over them, and that's annoying. You would have
and people could say, well, they didn't have Fabian. Well, it's like, all right, but one guy shouldn't make your whole defense.
That's the point that we're making is they're lacking depth. They don't have quality depth.
Well, but so the question is, okay, so how many spots do you anticipate them being able to get out of the portal? And then, because I don't know if it's going to be 10 or 12, if it's 7 or 8.
Yeah, then which ones do you prioritize?
I really don't think other than maybe an offensive lineman. You don't need to do much on offense, right?
I'd get a lineman, maybe.
A tight end and a lineman.
Golly, if you could get an actual good tight end, wouldn't that be
how
something?
How about the kid out of Shorter College in Georgia? He's 6'7", went in the portal last week, and everybody is offering him.
Let's go.
Come on.
LSU,
can you imagine
State,
going
everybody.
from Shorter to Florida State?
Let's go.
Let's do this.
Come on, baby.
But he visited this past weekend. Apparently went really well, but everybody in the country wants him.
Throw the money at him. Let's go.
A tight end and an offensive lineman. Probably that's it.
That's
right?
it. That's it.
I don't know how you could watch this offense as a talented tight end and not be like, I want to go play there.
Correct.
Like Cam McDonald was 3rd on the team in receiving, and Cam McDonald's
whatever he is.
Tight end.
Yeah.
And a lot of his catches were pretty wide
open.
Oh,
now
God,
imagine a special dude running wide open that makes a couple people miss and bounce off him, and he had 9 touchdowns. He could have 9 touchdowns. Like that's. They're throwing Marqueston Douglas had like 200 yards receiving.
I like Marqueston Douglas.
Preston
by the way.
Daniel had to get tackled when he went out on a route.
Man.
Yeah, but that was a big guy that set up the 4th down run, kept that drive going. It's a big catch by my man. But yeah, so I think 1 offensive lineman, 1 tight end. You also got to remember Winston Wright basically serves as another transfer wide receiver coming.
No, you're good. That's why we're saying we want to
set.
concentrate over here on the defensive side of the ball.
Now, Preston in the chat points out Bless Harris is coming back. So
that's true.
You get him back at tackle.
Maybe Caden Lyles.
Like Julian Armella,
I keep telling you, the offensive line is going to be better next year.
You probably just need one. If there's one dude that you can go get. But Bless Harris was a starter. He was your starting tackle.
Yeah, you lost him before you could even get started.
And then Caden Lyles might be back. We don't know. I think you like you said, the younger guys.
I do. Yeah.
The defense.
I like their.
I think you need a linebacker or 2, and I think you need 3 or 4 defensive linemen. And I mean good ones, like Ira was saying, good ones, like game changers.
Dominant figures. If you're going to win the ACC and compete to get into the college football playoff,
well, your offense should be good enough to do just that if you can get a competent defense.
And that's what I want people to understand is that we're not saying, hey, let's go get this guy and this guy because we're just hoping to win 10 games. You've now established yourself as a program that is on the rise. You're off of 9 wins. Now you want to win the conference.
Yeah.
The next goal is to win the ACC. And maybe what goes along with winning the ACC is a spot in the playoff, but you got to win the conference first. You got to wrestle that away from Clemson. The time is now. I think that the shine is off that program a little bit at Clemson. You got to take advantage of it. You just swept the state. You should see an uptick in recruiting, and hopefully you're able to cash it in with transfer portal players that are plug-and-play guys right now. I agree. I would go 3 defensive linemen. I would look seriously at a couple linebackers. And then from there, you can find out what's available and kind of judge
what about
your assets.
What about safety? I mean, you feel good about Shaheem Brown.
I like Shaheem Brown a lot. Yeah.
We don't know what Akeem Dent's going to do, and that's probably up in the air. But Jamie Robinson's clearly leaving. So just do you need another safety there, or do you feel like there's anybody that we've seen?
Well, I think they have a kid that they want to play safety who doesn't want to play safety, which is probably why there's a little bit of sulking going on.
I was going to say, I think McCall's the guy they want at safety.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean,
what a guy.
If it's to me now that the season's over and whatever frustrations people have, they can sit down. They had the end of the year meetings with their coaches. Okay, this is what you do.
Now, do you have them now, or do you have them after the bowl?
Probably have them after the bowl, but
maybe
you
with
may want to have one with
Sam.
Sam.
Yeah, you rush
you
that
may
up.
want to have one with Sam sooner rather than later, and I'll get to that contribution in a minute. But to me, like. That's an area where you sit down and say, son, don't you think I have your best interest in mind? I mean, you could play in the league at safety. I mean, I know you think that you're a corner, and maybe you are in some places, but not here. We need you at safety. I mean, I don't know what you
it works with some guys that doesn't work.
Right.
Xavier Rhodes wanted to play wide receiver. Xavier Rhodes was still kind of complaining about not playing wide receiver when he was becoming an all ACC cornerback.
He's an all ACC cornerback. You're in the league. Yeah.
But other guys, James Wilder's a guy that some people wanted at linebacker, and I don't think he had any interest at all in ever leaving running back. So it just some guys just don't have an interest in switching positions.